Today I'm going to give you 5 life lessons that I learned from Johnny Kim. Heck, let's make it 7. Let's give you some bonus here. Who's Johnny Kim? If you haven't heard of him, there's been a meme that's been going around for a couple years now. And basically, it just kind of shares with you some of his major job titles. And then basically tells you how cool he is. And so he's been a Navy SEAL, medical officer, and sniper. He's been an astronaut for NASA. He's also been a doctor, and he went to Harvard Med School to become a doctor. Incredible resume, you could say. And of course, it's drawn a lot of uh, people making conclusions about the man without even doing their research. So I want to give you some real detailed facts about the guy so that people don't just jump to assumptions about him and really learn about him. So let's begin. Tip number 1. He doesn't think that he is any more smarter or better or have any better physical capability than anyone. He thinks that his differentiator is his ability to defer suffering and defer pleasure for longer and suffer for longer to get that greater payoff. He says when he was in Harvard Med School, he definitely studied harder and worked harder than a lot of the classmates who were very smart. So that gets you thinking. Number 2, he had a tough life, a tough upbringing. And it just goes to show you that, some people assume, oh, this guy must be a superstar out of the gate, some life genius, perfect life. Not the case. Sometimes it is, Bill Gates had a relatively good life all the way through, but not him. He had a very dark childhood with a abusive father, an alcoholic, and very traumatic events. Many of that part of the story he did not reveal. He kept private for a very long time. I think he really started to reveal it only recently because he thought it would inspire others and help others. Very terrible time with his father. He had to defend his mother and his younger brother, and it ultimately ended in a horrible shoot-off with the police and his father, with his father passing away. So that's the checkered past that he came from, and then he went straight to the Navy, thinking it would solve all his problems after high school, which is crazy. He was definitely not this superstar. Even then, he thought he had this naive idea that becoming a warrior through the Navy, being a Navy SEAL would solve everything, but it didn't. It added more problems. It did give him a toolkit to solve some of them, but he admitted he was a bit naive during that time. Lesson number 3: be humble. Ego is poisonous in various forms, and everything is an exercise in humility. Even after he finished his time serving as a Navy SEAL and doing all this amazing stuff, being a sniper, a medical officer, he had to become a parking ticket officer to help pay for his tuition at University of California, San Diego. And that very much helped him cover his tuition, and he gladly took that on. He saw it as a practice in humility. And he also had to take on ROTC, which was a very junior program given all the warfare combat he had. But he saw that also as an exercise in humility. And he believes no one is too good at any point to have any job. He says that, whether you're taking out the trash, doing the dishes, whatever, you should never be too above doing any of that. And I really admire that. He even has stories about how having an ego can cost people, and sometimes a life. There's a story where he failed to save a certain comrade, Ryan, during his time overseas because of a more senior officer who had a bigger ego and made the wrong medical call. And he fought hard to correct that officer, but he regretted not fighting hard enough, and that wrong call cost him his friend's life. And it was because of that ego that the superior officer, pushed that specific procedure. Number 4, Sometimes things just happen through happenstance, and you just naturally find things through your journey. In Jonny Kim's case, he never set out to be a Harvard medical doctor or a NASA astronaut. These things just ended up happening over time. While he was deployed overseas, he discovered the how much impact and how much good a physician does. And that's why he started to apply to med school. And then as a medic student, he had no conceivable notion of going to space or being an astronaut. But he met someone there who was a physician and former astronaut who told him about how much impact space exploration has had on inspiring the nation and helping people in ways that are intangible and can never be quantified but are immense. And that inspired him to go apply to the NASA program, especially when he saw the qualifications and he realized, well, wow, I have combat training, I have leadership training, I have a lot of these tactical things, decision making, government experience, medical training. They need medical officers. And that it just ended up aligning. So who knows, for you, maybe you're doing graphic design and you decide maybe that's not for you, but that helps you into your next role as a comic designer that's more focused on data engineering. I don't know, but you just never know where your career could lead. Don't always expect for it to be mapped out. Tip number 5. It can take years to learn how to effectively deal with your emotions, your trauma, your struggles in healthy ways. Many people may just think of Jonny Kim as a superstar who's immediately great at everything, but he has revealed that he has spent years dealing with a lot of the bitterness and hatred that he developed in his time at war in unhealthy ways, punching holes in walls, getting into fights and unhealthy relationships. And it was through time that he learned to be a better father, a better person, and to do things that he at one point was not even open or ready to consider, like vulnerability and healthy ways of dealing with that stuff as a civilian, which he had a real hard time transitioning to. Tip number 6. This is one that I kind of concluded through my observation, which is have patience. Have patience. A lot of these young kids think that they can do all this stuff by the time they're 20. No, even Jonny Kim, it took him years. I think he's in his 40s, 50s to accomplish all this stuff. And when he was 24 when he started college. Think about that. And then I think when he was like 28-ish or 26, 7, he was in med school, but he had like 3 kids and a wife. So he was like struggling with time management, juggling all these people. It wasn't like he was the superstar walking in through med school, having the time of his life, having this large social media following like Dr. Mike and just doing it all good. But he was struggling to be a good father and be there for his kids, which he admits, and doing all this stuff while in med school. And then tip number 7, do good, help others, inspire others, to know that you can accomplish more, make a great impact on the world, despite how average or bad your life may seem. That's really one of the big reasons he's come out and talked more and revealed more. He believes his story, his life, his wisdom can help inspire people so that they don't make the same mistakes as he does, but more so that they can start to believe that they can accomplish something just as great, despite having maybe not the most ideal life circumstances initially. So much you can learn from him. And if you want to learn more, of course, he's been on, I think, a few podcasts. Jocko Willink had him on his podcast. Fantastic interview. It was like 4 hours long, quality content. So much you can learn from him. Just search on YouTube, search on Google. You'll find stuff where he'll be talking and posting on social media. So there's a lot out there. Hopefully you found this valuable, and stay humble, stay on your journey, and see you later.